Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg is being sponsored by OnCue Marketing, Best Buy Benches, OmahaFastFoods.com, Certified Transmission, Omaha Magazine, Monahan Financial, Sholdit, NP Dodge Real Estate, Valpak, Kohl's Pharmacy, Centrus Federal Credit Union, Ideal Water. Welcome to Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg, the show that will leave you feeling great about yourself, Omaha's heroes, and Omaha, where we live, work, and play. So park yourself on the bench and have fun. Hi, and welcome to the world premiere of Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg. I am so glad that you went ahead and started to join us for this show, and I look forward each and every week to providing you with brand new ways to really think about yourself, really think about the impact that you have on people, really think about the impact that you have on your own life. Each week, we're going to be covering 4 different ways that will allow you to really change your perspective about yourself and your life. And we're also going to be covering a brand new public service announcement of a nonprofit each and every week. And a little bit later on, you're going to have the opportunity to hear a tremendous, even a miraculous story from my very first guest, Mr. Mike Familetti, who we'll talk to in just a few moments. Mike, thanks so much for coming to the show. Hi, and let me explain to you how these 3 eggs can change your life. Now, do you ever go to a restaurant on a Saturday or Sunday morning, and on the menu it says 3 eggs any style? So I have a question for you. What type of eggs do you like? Do you like them scrambled? Do you like them fried? Do you like them over easy? How do you like your eggs, soft-boiled or hard-boiled? Because you have the right to get them any way you want. Because I guarantee you, if you like scrambled eggs, you probably order 3 scrambled eggs at each time. But you know what? If you've ever thought about a fried egg, you have the right to order 2 scrambled and 1 fried. Do you know why? Because on the menu it says 3 eggs any style. It doesn't say 3 eggs same style, and that gives you the opportunity to order eggs exactly the way you want them. Now, you know what? Life is exactly the same way. Sometimes we see an opportunity. Sometimes we see something, but we walk away from it because we decode it as if it were something that we've always been conditioned to walk away from, just like the 3 eggs any style. Now, the moment that you decide to add variety and flavor to your life in a restaurant, you get to do that in everything that you do in life. So one of the things I want you to remember is this week, when you go to the restaurant, order 3 eggs any style, 2 scrambled, 1 fried, any way you like it. And in your own personal life, what I want you to do is do the same thing. Take a look at an opportunity, don't decode it the way you normally do, and then add flavor and variety to your life. Now, you know, sometimes in a locker room, in a big sports game, you've got that manager, and it's halftime, and all of a sudden that team is losing. I can guarantee you that the manager or the coach says these following words: "Folks, you gotta step it up. Our performance in the first half was not good enough. If we are gonna overcome, if we are gonna win, each and every one of you has the responsibility to step it up. Now get out there and give it your best." And you know what happens? They go out into the field, and all of a sudden their game plan and their execution continues. It's a marvelous thing to watch. But I got to tell you something. I absolutely hate that speech. I think it's pathetic. If in the second half of a game they are capable of stepping it up, then why didn't they do it the whole time? Don't leave anything on the field, and that means your life too. Anytime somebody says to you, step it up, you're letting yourself down. You're letting the team down. You're letting those who depend upon you down. So remember this: never, ever step it up. Always give it everything you possibly have. And you know what that happens? You become a champion. You become the winner. Now, let's try something entirely different. What I would like everybody to do, I want you to grab a pencil and paper. And if you don't have a pencil and paper, just do this exercise in your mind. Here's a very important exercise. What I want you to do is I want you to draw a line. And it's very important. So take a pencil and paper and draw a line either in your mind or with something that you have with you. All right, take a second. I want to make sure you got it. Here we go. Now, there's a couple of ways to draw that line. Let me show you the way I do it. I draw the line all the way up, just like that. Because what have I done? I, number one, am an upward thinker. Number two, which is very, very, very important, I use the entire potential of the page. Because some of us might have drawn a line that went something like this. And when we go something like this, what happens? That means we're plateau thinkers. That means we did not even use the entire potential that is available to us. One of the things I want you to remember in life is that you always are given opportunities to draw things out and to use an upward thinking and to always take that upward mobility and that upward movement so that you can always reach your potential and use your potential. That's what's important. So take that pencil, take that paper in your mind and say to yourself, I'm an upward thinker and I am always going to use everything that I possibly can. And now I want to share a fourth story with you. I want you to pretend for a moment that this pen is an ice cream cone. Now just think about this for just a moment as you hear this story. One time I was at an event and dessert was being served. There were 100 people there and they announced that there were only 99 ice cream cones and that the line would start right now for everybody to get their ice cream cone. Now, can you imagine what happened? No, there wasn't a massive delirium. People didn't step over each other, but people very, very organizingly got up online. Some people took the initiative. They were in the front of the line. Some people took their time. They were in the middle of the line. And some people waited for others because they just didn't want to be seen. But here's the pity. The very last person, number 100, did not get an ice cream cone. And that is something which really, really should have been taken into consideration for people's minds, because that person absolutely lost out. They did not get their ice cream cone because they weren't the first. Now, let me ask you this question. In your life, in that event, what would have happened? If you were number 100, would you have been mad at the other 99 people in front of you who got the ice cream cone and you didn't? Or would you say to yourself, you know what? It's my fault. I did not take advantage of the opportunity. I waited for everybody else to get theirs. Because that's exactly what happens in life. Sometimes people say, hey, let's go to this place. There's an opportunity for us. And then all of a sudden an individual says, nah, I'm going to take my time. And then we begin to ask ourselves, how come I didn't get it? And the answer is very, very simple. You didn't go after it. Somebody else went after it before you even had that opportunity. And from that perspective, that is a very, very bad thing to happen. So from now on, never get upset if you don't get something. Say to yourself, when that opportunity comes up, I'm going to be the first online. I'm going to get there before anybody else does. Because whether it's an ice cream cone or an opportunity to advance in life, you are going to be the individual that is going to make it. You know what? I've got a bonus for you, because I'm going to use this pen again. Because the pen is very interesting. Every time we take a pen out and we begin to write, we want to make sure that the pen gives us as much as it possibly can. We never want that ink to run out at all. And we get upset when it does, because we want to maximize everything that's available in the pen. But here's something else we need to think about. When we get up in the morning, do we say to ourselves, I'm going to be like a pen? I'm going to be the individual who wants to get as much out of life as I possibly can. Because here's something that's very profound. And the very profound statement is, I never know when it will run out. You never know when the pen will run out of ink, but yet you have the opportunity every time you get up in the morning to say, I want everything out of life, just like I do from my pen. So let's review some of the things that we learned. We learned about 3 eggs any style, and we learned that from now on, you get to order 2 and 1. You get to have life the way that you want it. We also learned that it is always important to never have somebody tell you, step it up, because you always have to step it up. Every time, you got to operate a maximum capability, and when that capability stops, guess what? You have to increase it. We also learned about the lines. Draw upwards. Take advantage of every potential that is around you. And each and every moment that we get up in the morning, Every time we want to think about the pen. We want to think about the fact that we want everything that we can get out of this pen because we never know when the ink is going to run out. We also have to say to ourselves, in life, I'm going to get everything that I possibly can each and every time. Those are the important things. Those are the vignettes that we're going to be sharing with you each and every week on your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg. Every one of them is going to be unique. You have a decision. That decision is, hey, you know what? That was very interesting to listen to. I enjoyed it. Your other opportunity says, not only was that interesting, I'm going to take it. I'm going to allow myself to get whatever I want out of life because I'm the individual that absolutely deserves it. I'm the individual that is in charge of my own destiny. And these little tools, I'm not going to avoid them. These little tools, I'm going to take and adopt them into my life because that's where the important part of it really comes into play. In a few moments, you're going to meet an individual who has taken each one of these items and allowed himself not only to improve his life, but even more important, he went ahead and said, not only am I going to improve my life, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to improve the life of everybody that I am able to do so. His name is Mike Familetti. You met him a little bit earlier in the beginning of the show, and you'll have that opportunity to meet and understand everything that Mike will be able to do for you. If you enjoyed this segment of your Omaha High, be sure to return next week as we present you with 4 more opportunities to really expand on your life. It becomes that important to add on to your portfolio and to add on to your inventory. And that's what your Omaha High is going to be all about from this show and all shows on. Now I'd like to get the opportunity to tell you a little bit about an individual organization that has done absolutely magnificent things here in Omaha. I bet you didn't know that right here in Omaha, 30.5% of our neighbors are living in poverty. And that last year, right here in Omaha, Nebraska, 20,000 families had avoided homelessness because of this organization and exactly what they do. As a matter of fact, 30% of our community right now lives below the poverty line. The name of the organization is Together. And this year on May 31st, Together will host its first annual soccer fundraiser, which is going to be called Kicking It to the End Homelessness. One more time, Kicking It to the End Homelessness, which is going to be sponsored by the Omaha Football Club. I encourage you to visit togetheromaha.com. Learn what this organization does. Learn how it prevents homelessness. Learn how it touches everybody in this city who is homeless. Togetheromaha.com. Visit it. It's a great organization. And now it's my pleasure to introduce you to a very, very, very nice guy. Why is he a nice guy? Because he has dedicated his life to helping others. And so far to date, he's helped 150 people, if not more, change their lives. Please give me a warm round of applause in your homes, by the way, for Mr. Michael Familetti. Michael, thank you so much for coming to our show today. The reason I have Michael here in the show is because he is a transplant from Texas. And once he came up from Omaha, Nebraska, he not only had to find a job for himself, but he also did not stop there. He began a mission that will actually inspire you and actually teach you. So Michael, let's start at the top. You were down in Texas, and you had a pretty good job down there, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And what were you doing?
We were a manufacturing company.
Right.
We made large power supplies.
Okay. And how long were you there for?
I was there for about a year.
About a year.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, what happened?
They started consolidating.
Right.
And they had some layoffs.
Right.
And I was laid off from the organization.
How devastating was that?
Oh boy, very devastating. Very devastating. It was a challenging journey.
Okay. And you had a decent income. I mean, you really... You had it good down there in Texas, to say the least.
Yes, I did.
So you found out that you're no longer there. There was a loss of income. You were devastated. And then what did you do?
Well, that journey lasted 18 months.
18 months.
18 months.
Now, you must have gotten somewhat frustrated because the average rule is about 6 months.
Yes, yes. I was very frustrated.
Okay.
You know, and then the downsizing of the economy came
Right.
into play as well.
Right.
And there's just a lot of factors, and it was a grueling 18 months, by the way, emotionally and physically too.
And physically, and I'm assuming
Absolutely.
financially too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Some days we didn't even know where our next meal was coming from for my family, frankly.
That had to be horrendous.
Oh, it was.
So
It
you
was.
left Texas and came up to Omaha. Why Omaha, and what happened here?
Well, when I left, I was still in Texas,
Right.
and I was still looking for a job.
Right.
And some of my closest friends are in Omaha.
Right.
And there was a job opening in Omaha.
Okay.
So I contacted my friend and see if he knew anybody within the organization. Okay. And he said he knew someone.
Right.
He took my resume, gave it to the president of the company, and she gave it to the hiring manager.
Right.
And I got an interview, and then
Okay.
I got the job.
Excellent. So how did your family feel about going from Texas to Omaha, Nebraska?
Well, this is our second stint. Omaha's our home. We
Oh,
were here
okay.
once before.
All right.
From 90 to 94.
Right.
Okay. Then we left.
Okay.
And both of our children were born in Omaha. So to us, Omaha
So
is
you were
home.
happy to come back?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So you found yourself in a job and everything started coming back. Now, I think at that particular point, you were still underemployed. You were not at the same level that you were down in Texas.
That's right. I was a six-figure type of potential job going to a starting salary much less than that.
Yes.
And it was a challenge.
Yes.
You have to adjust your lifestyle.
Yes.
And when those types of things occur.
Yes.
But I also knew I had to get my foot back into the workforce after
Yes.
18 months.
So up to this point, you're probably asking yourself, okay, if this is an uplifting show, why am I starting off with a depressing story? I mean, here's a guy that went from higher income to mid-level income, and you're saying, okay, this is not motivating me. But wait a second, here it comes. So after you got your job, then most people would say, okay, fine, I'm back in a somewhat comfortable position. It's time to sit back on the couch. It's time to watch television. I'm worried about me, but that's not what you did. What did you do?
Well, what I did is I wanted to get engaged in assisting others that
Okay.
were unemployed and underemployed, like myself. Because
Right.
when and then all of a sudden I called this church up.
Right.
They didn't have a program. They wanted to talk to me. We got a program in place.
And when you say program, what kind of a program is this?
Well, it's called the Omaha Career Networking Support Group.
Okay.
We meet every Tuesday night at Christ Community Church. We
Right.
have guest presenters.
Right.
And twice a month we have a workshop.
Okay.
And then we also have one of our volunteers speaks once a month as well. And it's focused on assisting folks that are unemployed and underemployed find gainful employment.
So you know what you went through, and you did not want other people to go through the same thing.
Exactly.
Because the one thing you didn't say in your story is that you had no support system to go through. So as you were getting depressed, demotivated, feeling sorry for yourself and your family, you internalized all of that, and you had nobody to share it with. So you came here to Omaha, got a job, and said, wait a minute, nobody should have to go through what I just went through. And in order for them not to do it, I'm going to be the individual that's going to start a program so that nobody has to go through this. So how many people have been through your program since you started? And by the way, when did you start it?
We started in early 05.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, I think it was 07. I
07.
apologize.
That's all right.
And it's been there around 5.5 years now. We've had 155 landings, by the
Right.
way.
And define a landing for
A
me?
landing is someone that's found gainful employment utilizing some or all the strategies that we show folks.
Right. Okay.
And then from there, we started with 0 members.
Right.
We had no members.
Right.
And now we have over 250 members. And I would say maybe 1,000 or 2 have gone through the program over the last 5.5 years. Excuse me.
I'm sorry, 1,000 did you say?
I think roughly 1,000.
That's excellent.
And currently we got about 250 members because a lot of people after they land,
sure.
people go, people
Right.
come, that kind of thing.
Now, you provide training for those who are unemployed and underemployed. And I'll tell you something interesting. I bet most of us today actually think that we are underemployed. Because you know as well as I do that when you go to work, you say to yourself, hey, people are not paying me what I should be getting paid. My skills and talents are being underutilized. But you have a choice. And that choice is, you know what? That's just the way it is. That's the deck of cards I've been given in life. But now there's a way to really say to yourself, and that's why I had Mike on my very first show, is to show you that that is not true. You are in charge of your destiny. There is a group out there, the support group, that will give you the skills and talents, motivation, confidence in order for you to take yourself from an unemployed area or an underemployed area. So tell me something about these meetings. What occurs in these meetings?
Well, what we do is we have our guest presenters,
Right.
and they'll speak about a topic of the job search, okay? It could be interviewing, it could be preparing yourself resume-wise, it could be any one of these topics that are key.
And these are professionals that have done that before.
These are professionals that do it for a living.
And they donate their time just like you do.
Absolutely. They donate their time where they do charge to have their presentations, but they do it for free for our organization. Everything we do is for free to our members. And even become a member is free.
It's free.
It's free.
That's amazing. Now, I want to go back to something that you said earlier. You started off with 0 members. Now, at what point did you say to yourself, you know, Mike, this is a good idea, but it's not going to work. I'm going to give up because no one really wants to do this?
Well, I believe it's my calling from the Lord. And I knew the Lord was going to support this ministry as He has. And we started 2 or 3 months. I sat in the atrium area, and I was wondering, is it me? You know, because nobody was showing up. And all of a sudden, surely people start showing up.
Started to show up.
Yes.
And now that they are showing up, just between me and you and the audience, when you find out that somebody landed a job as a result of your vision, as a result of something that you put together, what kind of an emotional feeling do you get out of that, Mike?
Well, first of all, the glory goes to God, not to Mike. But you know what? I get emotional.
Yes.
I have broken down and cried because I know these people. I went through what they went through. Okay, I can relate to what they went through. I know the challenges that this grueling journey takes on you and has on you. And I would just cry sometimes.
So let's say, for example, right now, someone's listening and they know somebody who's underemployed or unemployed. What advice would you give them right now if they're in that position? And for a moment, let's shy away from coming to your organization. I'll get back to that. But what other advice would you give them?
Reach out to somebody. I don't care if it's a spouse. I don't care if it's a counselor, a friend. Reach out to somebody. The longer the journey goes on, the harder it is, the more challenging it is, the more challenges it creates in your life. Do not give up. Keep on pushing ahead. Talk to somebody about it.
Yes, and when you do talk to somebody about it, what guidance should that other person give? So, for example, if you're an individual that somebody turns to, what kind of advice should that individual give to the person that is seeking help?
Encouragement.
Okay, explain
Encouragement to move forward. Because with all these no's that we get on the job search, we have to remember all it takes is one yes, and it's over. But we lose sight of that. And we get depressed over it. Okay? So the best thing that person, that accountability person that's willing to assist you, encouragement, encouragement, encouragement.
Yes, absolutely. Encouragement from other people is so important, because you know what? There are a lot of doomsayers out there. There are a lot of people today that are going to tell you, you will never succeed. You know what you need to do with those people? Turn them off. Just get rid of them. And you need to substitute them with people who do encourage you. You need to be actually an individual who encourages others. Because just like Mike said, the feeling that you get when you help somebody out, when you help them achieve their goals, is irreplaceable. It's one of the greatest feelings ever. Moving forward, Mike, where do you see your organization going from here? Is there new plans? Is there plans for expansion?
Absolutely. We are actually in mid-July planning a rebranding and a renaming of our ministry, and actually a re-kickoff of it. All right. And with folks like yourself and others getting the word out there more, because we don't, this is a church, we don't have a budget. Okay, but we want to get the word out more. So that's the plan, to kind of rebrand, re-kick this ministry off for folks. And by the way, you don't even have to go to church to be part of this ministry, because a lot of people hear, well, it's in a church, I guess I have to go to that church. Not so. You don't have to go to that church. I don't go to the church I have it at, okay? Just as an FYI, you don't have to go to church at all. We want to help all the folks that need the help. That's our only goal here.
Can you share with us what the new name of the ministry will be? Or you'd rather not?
I'd rather not at this time until we have the kickoff.
I think that's absolutely the right thing to do, but at least it's coming. So what's your goal? So the rebranding must have a goal. What's the goal of the rebranding?
Well, it's very simple, as I said earlier, just to try and get folks aware that this ministry exists. There is help out there for you.
Right.
All right? Because it's a lonely journey, and if you let yourself become isolated, it's not a very good thing.
Right.
And bad things happen from that isolation. We want people to know about this ministry. We want people to come to this ministry only for one reason, to help them.
Help them. Yes. That's it. Now, I'm going to take this from an entirely different direction. You know, the one thing I admire about you, among many things, is that you said earlier Omaha is your home, but yet your roots are from New York City. And many people, when they come from New York City and they go to Omaha, they say, oh my gosh, I just went down in life. But I think you've adopted pretty well here. And that teaches people about change. So what is it that allowed you to take the New York personality to fit into the Omaha culture and influence people?
Well, you know, it's two things. And I'm going to go back to our personal experience as a family. My wife had a lot of problems with pregnancies.
Okay.
And when we got to Omaha, Nebraska, we met a specialist. Right. You know, New York City doctors couldn't tell us. But a specialist in Omaha told us what the problem was. Yeah. And we had both of our children were born right here in Omaha. So that, for my wife and I, this is home for us. Right. All right. Now, to take my personality and New York personality and try and fit it into the culture of Omaha, Nebraska was a challenge.
Yeah, I bet.
But I think I've been very successful. I love it here.
Yes.
I love Omaha. I love the town of Omaha. I love the people. I've been very blessed to be here.
And you know what, Mike? We are so happy that you are here because you've influenced people, you've helped people. And the one thing that each and every one of us want to learn from the little experience we had with Mike, you have a lot of skills. You have talents. You have visions. You have goals. Don't just stop there and saying, hey, I've got a goal, but I'm not going to do anything about it. Take a lesson from Mike. Go ahead and plan it. Go ahead and learn how to impact other people. Never give up. Always think positively about yourself and everything that you are able to accomplish in life. Mike, thank you so much for being my very first guest on this show.
Thank you, Andy.
I know that you've inspired people who have listening to the very first show. I just feel it. And the way you do that is absolutely remarkable. Keep on doing it for us, for people, and for the city of Omaha. This week, we had a tremendous opportunity to learn 4 brand new vignettes. You've learned about a marvelous organization here in Omaha, Nebraska. But you know what? It doesn't stop there. Next week, there is a 93-year-old person who right now is living life. She just recently published a novel. She's won all types of awards. You gotta come back next week to learn more about Elaine Jabanis and how her life can impact you and yours and how you can grow from it. We will be back next week. In the meantime, if you'd like to contact me, please do so by my website at Speaking of Andy Greenberg at cox.net, which is my email, and my website, andygreenberg.wordpress.com. We'll see you next week. Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg was sponsored by OnQ Marketing, Best Buy Benches, OmahaFastFoods.com, Certified Transmission, Omaha Magazine, Monahan Financial, Shold-It, NP Dodge Real Estate, Valpak, Kohl's Pharmacy, Centrus Federal Credit Union, Ideal Water,